Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today, I am going to answer more of your questions in another segment of Ask Judy. If you're enjoying these, hit like, subscribe, and if you would like to know when the next one's posting, you can go ahead and hit that notification bell. A question here from Betsy, who said, I adore Mary Wicks, and you are truly lucky to have worked with her. White Christmas is also an annual viewing in my household. One of my favorite Christmas movies, and I was so excited when Mary Wicks was going to be a guest on the show. She, of course, played the housekeeper in White Christmas. And, of course, we also got to work with Dean Jagger, who played the general in White Christmas. So a couple of White Christmas connections there. So Betsy asked, aside from that, when Corbeth goes up the side steps of stairs at the porch, I don't remember there ever being side steps. I thought there were only front steps. So yes, indeed, there were side steps on both sides of the porch. I remember in the episode The Obstacle, when Mike Paxton comes back and stays with us, and he's in a wheelchair, and Jim Bob and Ben, they build a ramp that goes from the shed where Mike is staying so he can wheel his wheelchair up over those steps on the side of the porch. And then we frequently came up the other side porch steps that came from like the barn side of the house. It was just, it was more conducive to shooting to have stairs and being able to access the porch from both sides. Just check that out. It may not happen in every episode, so you might not be aware of it except for times like when Corbeth goes up there. Then, on another note, I recently watched Michael Learned win an Emmy. It was neat to see her all done up, correct the presenter that she was not Michelle and looked so refined.
The winner is Michelle Learned, the Waltons.
I'm stunned, and the name is Michael.
When it came to award shows, what was it like to be in the midst of all that excitement, chaos, etc.? I was always very excited to go to award shows. I still can get starstruck. I'm a fan of movies and television, so to see the people that I look up to on screen and sometimes to actually get to meet them is still exciting for me. I never take that sort of stuff for granted. So I would love that, getting all dressed up and being on the red carpet and being in the room. And then what was it like from a nomination to actually in the moment when the names were called? Yeah, I mean, if you've been nominated, then of course it's like, oh, I hope we win. And a number of times the Waltons won different sorts of awards. We were present at the Emmys when the Waltons won for Best Drama Series, so that was pretty exciting. I don't remember how often I got to go to the Emmys, not as often as the members of the cast who were nominated, but I remember going to Golden Globe Awards and People's Choice Awards, and always exciting. The nominations were always very gratifying to feel like we were creating something that was being recognized by our peers, and there's a sense that that it meant that we were creating something quality, and we always kind of felt like we were. So not that you need to confirm that with nominations, but it was nice. My next question is from Corrine, who was talking about Founders Day and about Ralph Waite directing and things like that. So in regard to Founders Day, was shot as though it could have indeed served as the final episode for the entire show. And yeah, it really did. I think that they maybe did that thinking that it could end up being the last season of the show, and then we had the opportunity to be picked up and do more. So we were very glad to have the chance to come back. You said you had a question that you often wondered about the photographs that we see at the end of that episode and on the walls in the bedrooms, John, Olivia, Grandma, Grandpa. I noticed that some of these changed. Do you know the history of the photos? I do not. I know sometimes there was definitely a picture of Ellen Corby that was actually her. I think there might have been a picture of Will Geer when he was younger. So I think there were some photos that were real. I'm not sure if any of them were actually the real Walton family, the Hamner family. I don't think so, but I don't know. I never really went around and studied the pictures and asked about who they were. So I don't really have the background on those. I think most of them were just props unless it was supposed to be somebody in the family or a relative that we were going to see, in which case they actually created those real pictures. By the way, I could tell that a real baby photo of David Harbour was used in the episode The Secret. Great. It likely was. I don't actually remember. So I think that the photos worked within, it made sense for there to be pictures around the house, and if they were specifically referred to, then I think they were the real people. Next question is from Ronnie. Was the kitchen set 100% movable? I was watching in one episode and the camera was shooting you guys all at the kitchen table and from where the stairs and the brick wall with the desk. I always assumed the stairs couldn't be moved. Also, when there was a kitchen table scene and the camera was facing towards the cabinets and kitchen sink, was the living room set in place? The kitchen was not completely movable. Many of the walls were, like the wall where the kitchen sink was often a wall that was removed, or the one over near the back porch where Grandma would sometimes iron. That wall was often taken out. I don't remember particularly the wall where the stove was ever being taken out. I think they tended to utilize those other walls instead. So if it was being shot from, like the stairs didn't move, the fireplace didn't move, where the little desk was, so if it was being shot from that angle, then chances are they were just tucked right up against that, or they were had moved the desk out and they were shooting from where that little landing area was, where the desk was, so they might have been shooting through that opening. Things like that. If they were shooting from the kitchen, like where the sink would be, back towards the living room, then yeah, that set was there. If they were shooting towards the kitchen, the living room, they didn't take it away. They just might move furniture as needed to bring in equipment. So if we were shooting from the living room area towards the kitchen, then they'd only move what they needed to. And then if we turned around and shot back towards the living room again, they would reset any furniture that got shoved into the side or things like that. So that was pretty much the way it worked with shooting both of those scenes. Like the kitchen table never went away. If we were shooting in the living room and you could see the kitchen, they just put the walls back in and the kitchen table was there. They never really took it all away. So that was the deal on shooting all of that. That's what I have for you for this segment of Ask Judy. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more of your questions, so keep putting them in the comments below. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.